Hello and welcome to the League of Extraordinary Atheists for Humanism, where we attempt to apply logic and reason to religion and politics. I am your host, Mac, and with me is Christy. I got that right? It's been so long, I can't remember.
Yeah, I heard you're the gray skeptic, whatever that means. I guess we'll get to know each other.
A little bit of gray back in here.
Happy Friday, everyone. Happy Friday. I see RB. Love to see you as always.
I don't see you, but I would love to. There you are. Whee!
Whee!
Happy New Year. Yes. Yeah, I haven't seen any of you since last year.
No, it's been a year.
Happy to see y'all. I'm so happy to kind of see Nacha. I can feel him.
Yeah.
Under my desk, behind my screen, something like that. You know what I mean.
Yeah.
Logical Spock, welcome. We'll just wait a minute here until everyone's in and ready. I'm gonna drink a little rum.
It looked for a second, it kind of looked like we have it's like a pump. It's that big and it's hand sanitizer, and it literally looked like the hand. I was like, oh no, it's gonna be a rough show.
Look, I haven't drank that since COVID-19.
Yeah, I mean, our president, so,
Yeah.
I didn't inject it, I drank it, is what Mac's saying.
Yeah, yes, that is exactly what I'm saying. I didn't apply it. I said it. Okay. We have some fun topics lined up for y'all today. Hope you're all excited. If you're not, I hope you stay anyways. Our few topics that we have, real quick. I have some updates on the Israel-Palestine war, conflict, ongoing genocide, whatever the kids are calling it these days. Trump's had a lead on Biden and a number of polls and a number of demographics, which is neat and scary. Then we have some New Year's solutions, not resolutions, but just solutions that I want to talk about with Christy for the coming year. I want to know how Christy is going to fix the fucking world.
Yeah.
Put her in the hot seat and be like, how would you do it? What's your solution?
This seat is too hot. I'd get up and get out of it.
Well.
Yeah, I know. Well,
your whole life is too hot. So getting out of the chair is not going to help you. You got to answer questions. We need more rum. One of those nights. Yum, rum. I drink the passion fruit rum. I won't just flash the label since they're not paying me to do so. But you know how I shill. It'll just have to be like that. You're welcome. Okay. Shall we just get into it?
Yeah.
Shall we just so if I don't know how to segue into it. I want to make it like halfway funny, and I just can't.
Yeah. There's nothing funny about it.
It's not.
Well, I can say that during their chance to defend themselves today at the ICJ, their argument was literally, but Hamas, I know you are, but what am I? And nuh-uh.
Yeah.
So that's funny.
Yeah. I mean, it's a comical defense.
Yeah.
Do you have more on that? Do you want to elaborate in a moment?
Yeah, I have a lot. I have a lot on that. Nothing.
I'll set you guys up for it then. So you can go into detail. All right. So on October 7th, you know what happened in Israel. Hamas attacked, killed At first they said 1,500 people. It's gone down to like 1,100 people, 1,150 or something like that. Hamas had a 50, no, not a 50, a 45% civilian death rate. They came in on paragliders. They did a bunch of terrible things. They're absolutely atrocious. They are terrorists. I wouldn't be upset if the IDF or the United Nations or someone went and murked all of those people who committed such violent acts. Since then, the IDF, the Israeli Defense Force, has said, wow, we see your terrorism and we're going to do some counterterrorism. And that's been going on since like October 9th to the present, which is January 12th, 2024. And it just has been nonstop every day. I would like to just, you know what, let's just do a little bit of math real quick. I like to go by the Euromed monitor to show how many people are dead and injured and such. So we're just going to go ahead and round this real quick. And we'll say 2 months, about 60 days. Oh, hold on. I'm doing it backwards. 30,000.
97 days, actually.
Is it 90? Oh, yeah, you're right. I'm sorry. I didn't do my math right. It's more than 2 months. It's 3 months. 97 days. So we have 30,000 people dead, rounding it. Okay. And we're going to divide that by 97 days, you said, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So since then, and this makes it even more gross. Are you ready, Christy?
Yeah.
The idea has, now remember, Hamas did kill like almost 1,200 people. And that is atrocious and absolutely insane, violent, inhumane, monstrous, so on and so forth. But since then, the last like 90 some days, Israel has killed 309 people per day. Since then, let me correct that. They have killed 309.278 people a day. And I think it's important to add the point because they are in Gaza doing amputations without anesthetics. So the point is a point on its own. It's not accurate the way I described it, not at all. But it does help remind you that when you see the point, it's like, oh, well, you know, you don't kill parts of it. Yeah, you kind of do when there's this many people missing body parts and still starving to death.
Yes, there's been over 1,000. We know of 1,004 minimum that can be, sourced and corroborated. Over 1,000 children who have either had 1 or 2 limbs amputated without any anesthesia. A minimum of 1,000 children under the age of 10 who have had 1 or 2 limbs amputated without any anesthesia.
Because one, the IDF bombs hospitals, so the Israeli government bombs hospitals. I want to caveat that before I say 2. Caveating, I'm not saying Israel. I'm not saying Israel's doing it. I want to say Israel's doing it, right? It's really easy to say because when we talk about it, what our government and military is doing abroad, we say America is doing that or our army is doing that. Sometimes we go back and forth. I'm being extra charitable in a way that I don't have to be correct. And I could just say the Israelis are doing it. And I'd be close enough to correct because they are Israeli when I'm talking about the IDF, at least for the most part, the major majority. But not that I'm not just trying to not be racist towards all Jews or anything. I'm not anti-Semitic. I know and admire a large handful of Jews. And I know I'm not just speaking to our choir here. I want to reach a wider audience with this kind of talk. That's why I'm caveating so much. I know we don't need to tell RB and Smitty and whoever that like we're not anti-Semitic, but I'm really getting sick of having to caveat everything. But it seems like it's very important because if you don't caveat it, because it should be a no-brainer that we're not anti-Semitic, we're just angry at what the country of Israel. I'm kidding. The IDF is doing with the Israeli government, the administration who's in power is telling them to do, which in this country, when we're talking about it, it's just to say, we say America is doing it. It's our taxpayer money. People look at us and say, look at those dumb, violent Americans. Look at what they are doing. And we eat it when they pitch it to us like that, or when we have to say it like that. We take some responsibility. So the people probably should too, but I'm being generous. And I don't have to be, but I am, so take it. We shouldn't have to be this charitable. They're the ominous they. I missed that YouTube channel. The IDF is being monstrous. They are killing women, children, men, all of whom are innocent, along with some who are not. But no matter how you spin it, even if they are using human shields, right? If they're using grandma or a 32-year-old man who just open carries as a human shield, it doesn't give you the right to shoot through the human shield. And that's what's happening. I want everyone to understand at any point in time when they say, ominous they, say that, well, they're using human shields, right? They're hiding under people's houses. They're using a hospital or the basement of a hospital as a shield, as a base, as a what the fuck ever. That is just an excuse to say that's why we shot through the children. That's why we bombed the hospital, right? Most of these claims are, well, we thought there was a base under the hospital. Well, we assumed those people were human shield. Well, we knew someone was nearby who was part of Hamas, so we killed the entire marketplace or refugee camp or parking lot full of people because we knew there was a target there and they were hiding amongst the population. That's just how bad and scary they are. So hide. So, if there was a room full of kittens and they thought they could hide there, they would hide in the room full of kittens and we'd have to slaughter every one and probably go through and stab all the kittens afterwards and make sure they're all dead and no Hamas is hiding underneath them. Right? I'm being a little hyperbolic now, but before that last part about stabbing the kittens to make sure there's no hiding, that's not hyperbolic. It's not at all. That's just what it is. And that's what I really want to clear the air with today is when we on the left are speaking about this, we need to be a little bit less apologetic, right? I think we do need to be fair and absolutely, like when someone says, well, what about Hamas? Okay, well, they're terrorists and any violent Hamas insurgent militia person, whatever, they should, whatever your stance is. Me, I don't have that much of a problem saying they should die. I mean, as far as terrorists go, I don't have a lot of love and hope and empathy for violent terrorists. But also when you just keep the killing up, especially when you're killing civilians, all you're doing is building more Hamas. We've seen this time and time again with our country involved, and even in our country to some extent. When you kill civilians, those civilians get radicalized, and then they find radical people to partner themselves with. By the way, I love your Wonder Woman shirt, Christy. Love it. So all we're doing is making more terrorists. And when we do that, we are not making our country safe for us, let alone Jewish people. And when the IDF is killing a shit ton of civilians, they are not making a Zionist state that is the safest place for Jews. They're just not. This is very counterproductive. Even if they kill all of the Palestinians, you know how many people will be praying for your death as a country? It is still not a safe place for Jews. And it is somewhat justified when you commit a genocide for everyone to wish you dead. So, like, don't do a genocide. I mean, like, no one apologizes for like being like, yeah, I'm glad most of the Nazis died during the war. Or we don't say that, right? So don't commit a genocide that is the worst thing we've seen since the Nazis, and then people won't wish that upon you. And to be clear, and I don't have to be charitable. I don't have to. I can just say what I think. I don't give a shit. I don't wish that upon the Jews, any Jews, because they're Jews. The IDF, on the other hand, I see that as a terrorist organization, and I already told you how I feel about terrorists. I don't really care if they die. I'm not going to shed a tear if the IDF gets like wiped off the map by like Hezbollah or something, another terrorist group. I'm not going to shed that many tears. But when it's civilians, then I care. And we should be clear. I will be clear, because we've talked about this so much on our channel. What the fuck is a terrorist? It's a person who commits political violence for their means, right? To their end. We brand so many guard defenses, like the Iranian Revolutionary Guard, or something like the IDF, terrorists just for fighting us militarily. The Iranian Guard has never committed a terrorist act on U.S. soil, and we dub them a terrorist organization because they like to foil some of our plans in the Middle East when we're trying to steal the Middle East oil abroad, and privatize it. And it's psychotic. We should go by the definition of people who commit acts of terror, who commit violence for political means, right? That's a really easy definition, and I think we should go by that. And there's a lot of people on this story map that we're talking about tonight that absolutely qualifies that, and I don't really have a problem with it. That's a really applicable, easy definition for us to work with, right? So anyways, two. One was because we want hospitals. That's why they're having a hard time getting aid, and why we have to use no anesthetics to do surgeries and amputations on men, women, and children in Gaza currently. The other reason is because there have been reports, multiple reports, not just one, sadly. I wish there was only one and it was debunked, but it's not the case, where not only are we bombing hospitals and ambulance, we're also not weird. I mean, we're supplying the weapons. So the Israeli side is bombing supplies trucks, human aid trucks, setting them on fire. Also, going through and checking the aid trucks. And if one thing is denied on an aid truck by an IDF soldier at any checkpoint, then they have to turn back the entire truck, starting the weeks-long process all over again. Meaning,
some of those things that are saying some of those things that they're saying can't come through. They are contraband, which just nails in the fact that it is an open air prison, that you're calling things contraband the same as you would a prison. One of those things are tents. People are donating tents because the pipes that go into the tent
together
can be used to make weapons. So the
and
whole
probably can. But what does it tell you that Hamas has to go to that lengths to get weapons? They have to use tent pipes. Even if it's true, how sad is that? That on that side, they have to keep tent pipes away. It's not just because they're that dangerous. It's because they're that desperate. Right? I mean, when you're that desperate, anything's dangerous.
Way before October 7th, way before.
They weren't accepting wheelchairs 5 years ago.
I was just saying, during the great, a March of Return, people were shot in their knee and below to make them, handicapped, to make them disabled. And they were not allowed to have, whether it was crutches or a wheelchair, because it can be broken down and made into weapons.
Right. We reported on that.
Yes,
that's why I remember it. It's nothing new. It's just what Christy says. What's their defense at the international court?
Hamas. I know you have a what am I? And what was the last one? Damn.
Yeah. No, I'm sorry. I don't mean to keep interrupting.
The last one was nuh-uh.
Nuh-uh. It's I mean, it's as close as to hilarious as anything here gets. There's so many pictures and so many videos.
Yes, RB knows.
That are saddening. Guys, before we move on to Christy giving you more details on because of everything that's happened, South Africa, who just got done being an apartheid state a few decades ago, are bringing charges to the International Criminal Courts through the UN to bring charges of genocide against Israel. And maybe I haven't got this far because I'm like a few days behind right now. Maybe against the US as well, which they should. They absolutely should. There are weapons. Mike Pence even said something about, oh yeah, if my name's going to be literally written on a weapon, I'd be proud to be bombing Gazan civilians. What I want to say real quick, because I kind of forgot it. So I'm going to take a drink, slow down my thoughts. I really did forget the thing that I stopped you to say. Okay, I got it. This is really one of the most important things that we can convey to you in this show at all. This is the number one thing. And I hope Christy agrees with me here. She looks frozen. Nacha, am I still on, or did we lose Christy? Everyone's waiting for that number one thing right now. Or I'm just waiting to say it and no one can see me. Okay, it appears we lost Christy. Okay, hopefully we get Christy back. Hopefully she hears my point. Yeah, problems with basketball. Okay, she'll be okay. It's shut down. Oh no, Christy. Okay, so I won't make you wait any longer for me to say my part. The most important thing to understand about this conflict, and I'm going to repeat this a few times, is the thing you can do to help is stay informed and share it. Tell people about it. Share pictures, share video, share stories, share information any way you know how. Make sure that no one around you that you can reasonably help doesn't feel comfortable blindly supporting Israel. That is the only thing. You can't send aid, obviously. Trucks have been set on fire. Trucks are turned back. Aid spoils, depending on what the aid is. Aid is blocked. We can't send aid. We can't send money. We can't trust the U.S. government. I don't know what private companies, honestly, myself, I haven't done the research, but I would like to find out which companies we could really trust to help send aid. But I don't know if there is any in this conflict. Maybe not even just because of the like UNICEF or anything is untrustworthy, or Doctors Without Borders, but like so many people are being killed. Doctors are being killed. The thing you can do is let people know. Tell people. Talk to people about it. Talk to your parents about it. Talk to your siblings about it. Talk to your significant other, their parents, their family, anyone close to you. It is not hard to make a case that Israel is committing a genocide. Sadly, I think it really is the only thing that we can do. It's not just the best. It's the only thing that we really actually can do. If it was like fucking Haiti or something after a natural disaster, yeah, you could like send some money or food if the Clintons weren't around fucking things up. But you could try something like that. But this isn't one of those circumstances. This isn't one of those situations where we can send aid and feel good about helping that way. The only thing that you can do is make people around you more uncomfortable about the atrocities that are going on. Every little bit helps. And you just have to make your case succinct. Brantley, I appreciate you helping Christy with keeping or making sure that everything's plugged in all the way in multiple places. Fantastic. So I really do want to wait for Christy to jump back in and give you the details on the IDF. I'm not the IDF, the international courts. But in the meantime, I did bring up, where is it? There it is. I have day 82 from the Euromed monitor, Euromed Human Rights Monitor. Full name. And the Israel genocide in the Gaza Strip from October 7th to December 27th is the latest one I found on the Euromed monitor page .org. I know it's over 30,000 killed already, so this is outdated. It says 29,124. That's 11,422 children, 5,822 women, 26,706 civilians. So they're counting maybe 300 or 3,000 dead terrorists. Injuries, 56,122. Journalists killed. This is the deadliest war for journalists in our lifetime. It's 101. Displaced, 1,920,000 people. There are 2.3 million people in the Gaza Strip. So that's, do the math. It's a very, very high percentage. I'm not that quick at math. It's over 80%, that's for sure, are displaced. If you're going for an ethnic cleansing, if you're trying to displace an entire population, or even a portion, we'll say 25% to be generous in this instance, that's still considered a genocide. Just so you know, the case is really easy to make. Completely destroyed homes is 65,600. Partially destroyed homes is 177,200. Destroyed and damaged press headquarters, 165. Damaged schools, 305. Sorry for yawning and maybe passing it on to you. Destroyed industrial facilities, there's 1,541. Damaged mosques, 183. Damaged churches, 3. Yeah, there are churches in Gaza. For all those who didn't know that, like I can't remember her name from Israel. Targeted health staff. This is targeted health staff. 481. That's 226 dead, 255 injuries. That's just the health staff. This is the largest number of medical doctors and health staff ever killed in a war in known history. Targeted health facilities, 135, and that's 23 hospitals, 56 clinics, and 55 ambulances. And again, this is outdated by about 2 weeks. Just over 2 weeks. So that's what we're looking at. If you didn't already know, I assume if you follow our channel, you probably follow one of the other newsy like lefty channels. How many of you don't? It'd be interesting. Who just watches us? Who makes us their main squeeze in news, politics, and religion and such? Genocide is genocide. Who hasn't ignored the International Criminal Court? Yeah, no kidding. I always hear right-wingers say that the UN is useless. We should just get rid of them. And it took me until a couple of years ago to realize they're useless because we make them useless. Oops. That's our fault. That's when you go, see how I said our fault? I mean, it's not Nacho's fault. He can depart from this. It's like, not mine, bud. We'll have to use tablet. Okay, well, get on back in here, Christy. You can talk on your tablet. Horrible audio is better than no audio. Yeah, I'm saying the Americans at this point. Yeah, no, we absolutely that's our fault for making the UN useless by bobbing and weaving our own rules that we have to make and using our veto power in an abusive way. So other than that, yeah. Fun topic. You guys like it so far? If everyone's feeling jolly. And meant to leave in the comments here how you like my haircut. Did it myself. Right? Saves money. Post-COVID economy. Can't afford a haircut. I can. It's just I don't want to. Right? I'd rather do it myself at this point. Tell me if I should stop. I might not listen. But you can tell me. I'm not sure if Christy's going to get in quite quick enough. I'm sure she is trying. I don't want to go on and on necessarily about all of the other specifics in Gaza. It is incredibly depressing. The more I pay attention to it, the more sad and whatnot it makes me in general. But that's fine. That's fair. Paying attention to it is a form of staying informed. And people who are going through this deserve people to pay attention. I know I would want them to. You know, when America goes to shit in 1 year, goes to shit, goes to worse shit, goes to full dumpster fire full of dirty diapers shit. Because if Trump wins, that's what it's going to be, which is actually our next topic. I had to find my lid. So, if you don't mind, we'll count Christie's part as a solution. So we'll just come back to the International Criminal Court, and we're just going to jump into the next topic to move things right along. Okay, let's see what 538 has to say about the elections here. Okay, I'm going to scroll down a little bit, get things since the new year. So we have a morning consult poll from 5th and 7th, showing that Biden is, he has 43%, Trump's at 42%. Before that, I was going to start at the bottom and I didn't. I apologize. January 3rd through 7th, Norfolk University poll has Biden at 42%, Trump at 34%. Biden's, +7 there, +1 on the other. And then on January 4th through the 8th, we got a Quinnipiac University poll has Biden. There's two polls here, both from the same date. I don't understand why the difference. It does say more. That's Biden at 41%, Trump at 39%, Kennedy at 11%, Stein at 4%, and West at 2%. I think that's just what the others. Emerson College has Biden at 38 or 39%, Trump at 42%. Trump is +3 there. And we have Ipsos, Reuters, January 3rd. Maybe I don't know how to read these polls. Oh, they're basically even. Yeah. 48-48 and 29-30. And Rasmussen reports. Again, they're pretty close. One of them says Biden 41%, Trump 49%. So Trump's +8. Biden versus DeSantis. DeSantis +1. Biden versus Nikki Haley. Biden +2. And Biden versus Trump on a YouGov poll through the Economist. Even 43-43. In a Michigan poll, Target Einsight. Biden's at 45, Trump's at 41. And John Zogby Strategies. Zogby, what a cool, weird name. Biden's at 46, Trump's at 47. So, to point out the obvious, which is kind of my job here, It's kind of a tight race most of the way through. Biden had a couple strong leads, but Trump also had a couple strong leads. He actually had the strongest one that I mentioned. Like Biden had 1+7, Trump had 1+8. But it is also since the new year. This shouldn't happen because we have a man who has 91 criminal charges on his plate and has just been found guilty of fraud in New York. He's going to have his business license suspended if it hasn't already. And this guy's still like beating the president in some polls. So that tells you, hello, our president kind of sucks. And we should probably do something about it. So the DNC has taken it upon itself. You know, the Democrat. Oh, excuse me, I have hiccups. Hope I don't process those of you like the yawns. The DNC, the Democratic National Committee, has taken it upon itself to basically close down or cancel, not close down, but cancel the New Hampshire primary race. And said, like, yeah, if you guys have it, it doesn't really count. Screw you guys. We really want to start with South Carolina first. And as a private company who helps decide who people vote for, we just kind of have the power to do that for some goddamn reason. The RNC, I said, well, we're going to have, you know, primary, we're going to debate like debates and stuff, but can anyone beat Trump? Can we get anyone but Trump? It doesn't look like we can get anyone but Trump. So we're just gonna let him kind of lead whatever. They're just gonna be weak, is what they're gonna do. The DNC is gonna be corrupt as fuck, as it always is, and they say Biden's our only chance to beat Trump. When the truth is, Biden can only beat Trump. If you get Nikki Haley in there or DeSantis, they do as well as Trump or better, depending on the poll. And so many people hate Biden right now because he's so ineffectual and old. Seems to be one of the reasons. The more polls you look at and the more reasons why people don't trust him. They just say he's too old. Doesn't matter that Trump's up there too. He's old. That's what they want to focus on. He is the president currently. So I guess it makes sense to focus more on him because he is the president currently. But it shouldn't be that hard. It shouldn't be that hard. A Republican hasn't won an election fairly by the popular vote in like 3 decades or more. Hasn't won. Not a single one. Last one that actually won, I think, was Reagan. On popular vote. Again, actually, that's how I say, right? Actually won. I'm wrong. I'm saying it the wrong way. Right? They won, they were president. But as far as the popular vote goes, they won the popular vote in a very, very long time. Why is it this hard to beat them if they can't get the most votes? Partly because they rigged the system, and also partly because the opposition party, the DNC, the Democratic Party, they also rigged the system. They're like, look, we think these people should win. Also, we like these people, so you have to vote for them. Like, this is who's representing our party. I guess we get to choose. You don't really get to. And who we choose ends up on the ballot that you get to vote on. This is a fucked system. Super duper fucked system. And I want to get back to that when we get to solutions. Christy, you'll have to let me know soon, my friend, if you are going to make it back on or not. Mac, comment above. Oh, good. Well, she did say to move on. Thank you. I didn't read it yet. I switched to other sources. I'm sorry. So my main point in all of this is like, look, Trump's gaining some ground. This genocide in Gaza that the Biden administration is helping to go on and helping to bomb in is not helping his numbers and his persona at all. And it is hurting him greatly. Excuse me. Especially with young people, because young people are mostly lefties who want less war to look forward to. What lefties and young people really want is a livable earth to live on. Destroying a whole bunch of people's houses and families doesn't really make the world a less polluted, a more clean, or happier place, really any way that I can think of right away. If you hear that strange rumbly sound, humming sound, that's the wind outside. We're getting an Arctic blast over where I'm at. And Christy's probably like wearing short shorts. And I envy her. I don't look good in short shorts. So we have someone who is aiding and abetting a genocide in Gaza, running and losing to a criminal and a fraud who tried to commit an insurrection with his adoring fans 2 years ago. 3 years ago? Jesus. And that guy also wants to aid and abet more so in this genocide that is ongoing. Our choices are American. Let me tell you, they're American. Sad to say, but so true. As far as this goes, Christy, let me in the stream. How do I let you in the stream? Nacha, Christy needs let in the stream. There we go. I said it. I don't know if that's helped. Somebody call Max Page. I'm not that old to own a pager. I just know what they are. Hi, Christy.
Finally.
I'm so sorry. We were waiting for you. Kind of. I kept talking.
Yeah. That's all right. I was like, somebody's gonna let me in eventually.
Yeah, eventually. Thank you, Nacha. Okay. I think I'm done talking about Biden and Trump and the DNC, except for the fact. Oh no, wait, that's coming up. That's coming up. We can get on. I'm sorry. He's working on several things at once. Yeah. Thank you, Nacha. No problem. Thank you for letting her back in. Can we move on to the last topic? Are you okay with that, Christy? Like the solutions?
Get it.
You said get it?
Yep. I know it's gonna be it's horrible audio on this thing.
That's okay. We'll listen to your voice anyway. So New Year's solutions. I really did want to take this portion. Christy and I didn't really talk about it, but I figured it'd be an easy thing to kind of wrap up and do a fun little New Year's thing. I want to know what the international courts and South Africa thing. I want to know about that, and this is a great place to put it because this kind of action is a solution to the biggest problem in the world right now. And then I would like to know what else Christy would like to see done. either day after or whatever. Just what's your thoughts? What do you think is right to do in this moment in time? And then we can move on from there.
Well, I mean, first of all, nothing can be done unless there is a ceasefire. Not letting food in and aid in is maniacal. It's diabolical. I don't believe in magical evil. However, this is evil, and as a human, I don't need to believe in the same ideology or believe in a same religion as people who are being slaughtered, and uh, I just don't need that in order to empathize, and I cannot fathom being a single person trying to move from place to place, not being able to sleep, not being able to eat because there isn't food, not being able to drink water, even though you're so thirsty from the adrenaline of trying to survive. I can't fathom what that would be like, even though I do think about it often. When you add on to that, my girls are grown. However, when they were little, as a parent, to be able to, there's not enough food for everyone, so I won't eat. I'm not growing. They will. That already is heartbreaking. That happens in America all the time, every day. But not being able to eat and then to have to tell your children who are growing and have to have food that you can't protect them, you can't provide for them, there's nothing for them, and we have to move over here and we have to move over here and we have to hide and we have to try to survive. You don't have to be Palestinian to want the slaughter to stop, and atrocities and terrorism do not fix atrocities and terrorism. That's because this whole, it started on October 7th, doesn't fly with me. I can't have an honest conversation with somebody if that's where they want to start, because that's not where it started. However, there were war crimes committed on October 7th to kidnap and hold hostage civilians, not military. There were military who were kidnapped and held hostage. I'm not talking about them. I'm talking about civilians who didn't do any of this. But at the same time, when I say that, I cannot be me and not state that there are thousands of Palestinians that are held without ever being charged, just indefinite detention. That is also a hostage situation. And so what I think would be the best for this would be to end the occupation first and foremost. And for me, the best outcome, you could say I'm living in a dream world, would be a one state. It's there are people there, they're not going anywhere. Whether they're atheist, Jewish, Muslim, it doesn't matter. They're not going anywhere. So name it Israel, Palestine, Palestine, Israel. I don't care what you call it, Shinamariki Dinky Dink. I don't care. But those people, the people who live there, deserve the same rights as the people who enjoy the most rights. All the people there deserve to be able to be free and not be locked up and have their calories, their food, their water, their fuel determined for them. And so mine would be to end the occupation, starting with a ceasefire, a permanent ceasefire, and accountability to every war crime. That there are, our British brothers and sisters have people in the British military, or even not in the military, who have served, because they're dual citizens. They're Israeli and British. They left Britain to go fight, to go aid a genocide. I don't want to sound petty. However, these people, our brothers and sisters, come from a similar modern society. They should know better. And let's say on October 7th, what happened, and it hurt your heart, and you said, "I want to go. I have to go. I have to go help." I, uh, I'm with you. That's brave and beautiful. But by the 10th and the 11th and the 12th and the 13th and then November 13th and December 13th, like, I hope that all of the people who aided and abetted, including the government of the nation I belong to, under the Geneva Conventions and the laws, the international war laws, any nation or group that not only aids or funds, but also gives, how's the wording? God, I'm gonna mess it up. Gives support, whether it's morally, financially, with what we've checked all of those as far as a government. And I can't imagine when Joe Biden became president that he thought his legacy will be Genocide Joe. How is it not, though, when you are bypassing our Congress to ship off more of those 2,000-pound indiscriminate bombs that you are saying are horrible and should not be used on people? Those bunker busting bombs that we send them with, we can't get Congress's approval, so he'll just go behind them. And it, to me, as an American, that just shows that if the will is there, if you wanted to eliminate student loans, medical bills, if the will was there, you could just go around and do whatever the hell you want. So it just tells all of us here, we're giving money to a far-right fascist ethno-state, theocratic, a theocracy country that supplies healthcare for all, abortion from a river to the sea, education, housing, and we can't have that. Like, yeah. Yes, Mac, I know. You've been waiting for a long time.
I just don't want to forget. One of the things that you said is, these are people, right? These are civilians. They're not terrorists. Right? The majority of them who these atrocities are happening. Literally on both sides. But that's why I'm so careful. That's why I still think it is important to try to be careful and say not all Israelis are responsible for this genocide, because I know what that means to them historically. But also, if the shoe fits, right? Like, I have to balance that somehow.
I do. It's a fight in me, big time. A big time fight in me. I mean, big time, especially when polls are done and it's moved from, 1.6, 1.7% of the Israeli, civilians say that not enough, I'm sorry, that too much force is being used in Gaza.
Yeah.
And that moved to 3% since October 7th. Now, the me that is, a peacenik, I'm anti-violence. Violence to me should be defensive, never offensive. Yeah. Right. It's I mean, to my core. So that me is just irate at this population, this population who the South African group of lawyers, their team of lawyers, were able to, one after another, here are people in leadership who, shape policy, who are leaders and make the policy that everyone else follows, saying we need to eliminate all of them. There are no people uninvolved. The pregnant mother, the child, all of them are terrorists. I am irate. The rage I have inside of me, I am not one to be rageful and want to break things, because those are my things and I'm not doing that. But
It
I
doesn't help
understand
anything. Right.
that feeling of wanting to come in and just knock everything fucking down. How is this happening? But then,
Well, it's a sign of a healthy brain, because like something terrible is happening, and it makes your brain want to go fucking insane, right? And it makes you want to lose it, and that's a healthy reaction. Maya said something in the comments. It's sad that we have to specify that we're talking about a government when we talk about atrocities, these atrocities. It should just be obvious that it's the government war, regardless of what the people think. Sorry, there's something blocking it, so I couldn't see it. Or no, and that's exactly what I'm trying to get at. This is, I want to say it the right way. First, I'm gonna say it. It's not the Israelis in general, overall, even though most of them are cheering this on, right? That are committing the genocide. Their attitude towards it, at least as far as polls and like TikTok and stuff is showing, really disturbing stuff on there. We can't put all the blame on that, right? It's not fair to. But if you look at the flip side, to our standard, it's not fair, right? To their standard, to the Israeli people's standard, all of the Israeli people should die. Let me repeat that. To the Israeli people's standard, all of the Israeli Jewish people should die. Because to their standard, Hamas is everywhere. And the people of Gaza support Hamas, and they should have done something to overthrow Hamas. And they're afraid of a genocide. They're afraid that Hamas is just going to come out of every nook and cranny and kill all the Jews. All of the Palestinian people are Hamas. They're human animals. They all need to die. Because the Israelis, the Jewish people, are afraid of Hamas committing a genocide. While Israelis are committing a genocide through the IDF. And if the Israeli people didn't want that, they should really have a coup and stop the Israeli government. Otherwise, we should see them all as the IDF. And do I need to finish my thought? To their standard, they should all die. Not to our standard. We understand what information does. Information and misinformation does to a human brain.
Right. Well,
we
that's what I was to, the part of that struggles. It's full of rage because of those facts. There is a genocide. These are, I watch horrible real life videos day in and day out of what's happening there. My eyes are not lying to me. At the same time, I hear from some of the best journalists coming out, not that they're coming out of Israel. They are Levi, who is at Haaretz. He's been at Haaretz for a long time. On October 10th, he said that the whole country is just for revenge. On November 10th, he said the same thing. December 10th, he said, unfortunately, it moved from 1.7% saying, that too much force is being used to 3% during that time. And then he also stated, which made the humanist Christy, come out and tell the rageful Christy, sit down and take a beat, that Israelis are not being shown. Not that it is not allowed. Now, there have been a lot of rules, fascist laws and rules passed recently in Israel that are terrifying. I'm not talking about those. I'm talking about the footage I see. The footage, I have a VPN. Thanks, Brant. And so I can be anywhere in the world and I can get amazing news that way. I'm sure that Israelis know this as well. You know, they understood that in Ukraine Ukraine with Russia's attack on Ukraine, that people in Russia weren't getting any information unless they used the VPN. They know this. So them not applying it to themselves goes to that rage in me. However, when Levi from the Haaretz, investigative journalist, had said that they are not getting this footage. Now, they're not looking for it, and you can say it's their own fault, but in general, they're not getting the information of what's happening in Gaza. Now, they get the videos from the IDFs, and they have their own TikTok channels, their own Reddit channels, their own, Signal channels. They have these, and people in Israel do watch them. But you got to understand that these soldiers are turning on their camera, going in and rescuing a friend. It's, even though that is making them look like the hero, they are rescuing their friend. That is something good. And you can see in the background people screaming, crying, laying on the ground, blown up. They're not staying there. And those people on the ground, for the most part, and this particular channel, the IDF channel, are going to be IDF soldiers. So they're not seeing the videos that we see. 2 days ago, there was a group of women and children walking out in Gaza, waving a flag, a white flag, trying to move with their children. And literally the woman with the white flag got shot, falls to the ground, and the little boy that's with her, can't be more than a toddler. Yeah, he has to then, she's on the ground, run to the group of people by him, like, and that is a mild thing coming out of there.
Hold on, just a second. Hold on, I'm sorry. I wanted to butt in at this exact moment because I heard that story too, and the first thing I thought, and I thought it this time too, is, do you know how hard it is for a toddler to run away from a parent like that? You know how scared you have to make a toddler to run away from an injured parent? That's pretty fucking hard to do. That's really hard to do. I just wanted to point that out because I think it's a little piece of the story that's not accentuated. I feel like it needs to be.
It's
sorry.
It's horrible. The worst thing you could ever imagine going through, it's exponentially worse than that. You know, this is collective punishment. It is. And I am grateful that this far right, fascist, ethno-state, theocratic government that is Israel right now has been so comfortable, so emboldened to just come out. Now, we have Google Translate. I have it. I'm not computer savvy. I have it. And so it is not that hard for the people who are not Hebrew speakers to translate what they are saying every day, all day. This is just how they talk. It is accepted. And so with genocide being a very hard case to bring on any government or group or person, because intent is so hard to prove, that is not the problem this time at all. And then I do want to, before I want to close off what I was talking about. I am very mad that this group of 7 million Jews that are in Israel has nothing to do with them being Jews, has nothing to do with any of that, even that they're nationalistic or far right or fascistic, none of that. It is that this is a modern society with people who ought to know better and should also know how to take a claim that they hear, even if they believe in it, agree with it, and want that to be true, to say, well, let me try to debunk it. Let me try to prove it not true. They know this for everything else, and it's just heartbreaking. But also, the humanist in me cannot, I'm not saying that I would hate them if this wasn't true. That is not it at all. I pity, I feel so bad because history is going to look at and you know, it's going to be cruel. History is not going to be very kind to this society that verbally calls for the annihilation of a group of people because people from that group did X, Y, and Z. And that's the whole premise, not stating that those people from that group wouldn't even exist if there wasn't a blockade, if there wasn't occupation, if they were allowed to go back to their homes. I mean, I'll have to, if you guys want, I can do an entire future show on LEAH of just the policies that have been enacted since. We can go back to 1950 if you want. Policies that have been enacted in Israel to prevent Palestinians from returning to their homes. Laws that other people from other places get caught up in because they happen to not be so white, or and these are Jewish people from other, like Eritrea, because of laws on the books that they were created to prevent Palestinians from being able to return. The law of return is part of the Geneva Convention. It just blows my mind that these laws were created because of what we saw collectively as humans, what we collectively agreed that should never happen again, happened because of what happened, not just to the Jews, but significantly in World War II. And those same laws, that same arguments, those same conversations that were being held, United Nations were being held at the same time, saying, well, we're going to take this country that has these people and do exactly what we just wrote we're not allowing anyone to do anymore, but because of what happened to them, like, it's
And
yeah.
you're right. That's why we did that. I agree. And we're there.
And if I hear one more person use the argument, well, in Dresden at World War II, I mean, they annihilated all these people, and then in Iraqi, you guys killed 1 million, and this and that, and I'm just like, right, I don't agree with any of those things, and because take Iraq out of it, because of what happened, the terror bombing that the United States did to Germany's civilians, we passed international laws because of that. Like, because of that.
Right. And we need to do it. We need to do it now. We support for wars and conflict that the US is involved in went up. What was it, during the Korean War? When we stopped seeing video? When what Congress, I think it was, actually passed a law saying, like, you can't do live reporting of warfare anymore. Support went up because we're not seeing what's going on. We are finally at a place in human history where the people who are being massacred can report themselves. The parents who have their children, who have children who are having limbs amputated without anesthetics can pull out their phone in the worst moment of their lives and show you and me and anyone who has the patience and the heart and the tenacity to watch. They can record their child's screams so they can say, please help me stop this from happening.
Yeah.
When we see that, because we are humans that care about each other, right? I mean, we're very tribal, but the biggest tribe that we tend to care about the most is the human tribe. And we need to see it. We need to see it. You need to see it.
Yeah. Unfortunately, I mean, unfortunately, yeah.
It's what makes it real.
I mean,
it's part of your reality then.
Emmett Till's mom proved that whole scenario right there.
What was it?
Emmett Till's mom proved that entire scenario right there by, you know, having her sons decimated, brutalized, bloated, completely maniacally injured body in an open casket, which, I mean, I can't say that I would be that strong ever to be able to do that. But she knew if people could see what was done, they would be aghast. And she was right. So as hard as it is, and for me, it's very hard to not pay attention. I actually feel guilty if I don't.
Let me,
you know, I'm safe here. The least I can do is do what I can by informing myself. And, you know, I do put a limit. I don't just do nonstop doom watching. Yeah. However, I do make sure that every day, multiple times when I wake up, I start my day every day, Monday through Friday, with Democracy Now! Just, you know, it's nice. I love she's bae. So I start with that. And then from there, I have a few newspapers that are United States newspapers, and then a couple UK, and one Australian and one Irish, you know, and I kind of just go to some of my favorite journalists and read their stuff. And then I pay attention to video that is coming out from the actual people, the Palestinians who are sleep deprived, have no food, have no water, are dying in mass because of infections. People are saying, you know, their infections have maggots in them because they came into a hospital or clinic area after being bombarded and had their wound cleaned, wrapped up, and had to keep moving so that they could survive. And there's no water to wash them. So this is what's happening. I think that it is, don't look away. I'm not saying to make yourself bawl your eyes out every day, but if you're seeing stuff and it doesn't make you feel like that, I don't know. I don't know. I actually, I wanted to share this with you guys. I thought it would be really funny. And okay, so I am involved with a lot of different text messages and you know, ACL or AC, sorry, get down here. There you go. Planned Parenthood, a lot of different organizations. Okay. And sometimes I'll get you're in our, you know, top 10% in the nation of supporters. And I don't know, they're not giving me anything. However, it feels good to be recognized. And I get this is from, let's see, what does it say? Breaking, you know, news in the Supreme Court. And this is a group called Democrats Who Win, right? And so I get a message, hey, Christine, beginning of the year, blah, blah, blah. Can you donate anything from $1 to $10 and renew your Biden supporter membership? All funds will go to securing victory in swing states. Donate now. And it was in 2020 and in 2022. It was a great way to talk to other people who are a little, they didn't know if they were going to vote this way or that way. I could do text messages. They send me all the information. I don't really have to do the legwork kind of thing and help democracy, especially in swing states. And then I, get the you haven't answered, which they'd never done that before. And can you please take this? It was a survey to let us know, do you approve of Joe Biden? Is he doing, amazing all the way down to horrible kind of jobs and ABCD stuff? So I did, and I'm sure it was not what they were expecting. And so they send me, a message saying, we're not sure if you took it correctly or not. Here's another one. Can you just do it one more time? And then I did. And the message from them was, I see that you're having, well, I deleted a few of them. You're apprehensive kind of thing about, can you tell us more about what it is? So no big deal. And then the woman who was the original woman who I had talked to called, and we talked for a minute, and she said now that she's heard me, she would like to take me off the list so that I wouldn't be bothered anymore. And I asked her why, and she said, well, it seems like you don't want anything to do with the Democrats now. And I just couldn't believe that that's what she said. And I said, okay, well, have a great day. And then I did get a message from the team that's part of Democrats Who Win. And it says, would you renew your Biden membership? We have a new survey for you. I took it. And then at the end of it, they said, Christine, even if you're not very happy with Joe Biden, what about Project 2025? You said you were worried about that. And I said, I am. And they said, okay, can you please donate anywhere from $2 to $10 and renew your membership? So to that, I said, if this group, Democrats Who Win, will call for a permanent ceasefire and an end to the genocide, you will get the support from me that you are calling for. Until then, the American citizens I know will give Biden and the survey of yours the same amount of support that is given to the Palestinian people. Their reply to that was, you have been unsubscribed from text. Democrats Who Win the party, the group, and the Facebook page. You will no longer receive any, I'm just like,
Wow.
that says everything. Like, I was literally trying to, right. I just couldn't believe.
About a month ago, I got a text, and I don't usually respond to them at all. I don't donate it, because anything that has to do with the DNC, that's to me. I don't care. Like defeating Trump and supporting the DNC. I'd rather support the DNC, but I won't. So won't do either. Like, just don't want to do it.
Right.
I said, if there's no primary debates, there's no support for me. I didn't even get to the ceasefire thing. But yeah. No.
Yeah.
Just no.
Yeah. No, I just couldn't believe, because this is more of a the Democrats Who Win isn't the DCCC. It is about getting people to the polls, finding out through surveys locally what people want. It's like it's good. There's, as far as I know, since 2020, I just couldn't believe it. Another one with Hakeem Jeffries. They had that one wasn't something I was a part of. It was just a mass message that went out. And so I replied that, because they said it's been we haven't received any, donations or financial support from you on our record since blah, 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 blah. And so my reply was, if, you will support a ceasefire, not only will I be able to morally support you, but I will pass it on to everyone I know who is holding their support because of this exact reason. And I didn't get a message back. I just got it was like a message bubble with a code on it. And so I went up to the top just to delete everything, and it says that they no longer exist for me or whatever.
That's wild.
Wow.
There's a
Yeah,
badge
I
of honor. Oh, no, Christy, you're turning into a Republican.
Oh, yeah, go figure.
Yeah, go figure.
Okay.
Must be what
Yes,
it is.
I'm actually terrified. I am terrified. Project 2025 would be the end of the things we've been able to hold on to. It would be the end. And I mean, Trump would be worse. We think Biden's bad about, he would be, go ahead and annihilate them, eliminate them, mow them. Yeah, it would be worse. And this is going to be really hard. I'm in a swing state. It's going to be really, really hard.
Yeah. Let me tell you something.
No, I won't.
Damn it. Please let me tell you something, everyone.
Okay.
Something something that feels really good right now. I am also in a swing state. And text my wife. Tell her that. I'm kidding. I'm kidding. Not good.
No.
Something that feels really good right now, and I was thinking about it today, is I do live in a swing state, and I've said it before. I did not vote for Biden. I wrote in Bernie. I voted my conscience. He still won. Whatever.
Right.
You know what that means, though?
Right.
To me, that means I'm not supporting a genocide with my vote.
Right.
That feels really good right now. That feels really good right now. And I'm really glad I can say that. But it is like if Trump wins next time and I didn't vote for the other preferred candidate, it is going to feel fucking bad, right? But anything that Trump does that I didn't vote for, that still feels good that I didn't vote for that. Yeah. So that's kind of how I've lived my experience through voting this last like 8 years, like 7 or 8 years, where I've become a little more aware and then a lot more aware. Is, you know what? As bad as shit is, I don't have to take any responsibility for that shit.
True.
And I just don't.
But I've read 2025, Project 20. I've read it. Yeah. And I have daughters, and I just cannot. So it's like
the way that you I understand there's someone who supports a genocide. I mean, someone who supports a genocide and Project 2025.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Anyways, our solutions were ceasefire now. Yes. DNC can go down in flames. We need debates and shit. And love each other because we're all human beings. And love your pets too. And even the ones that aren't your pets. Swerve it. We love you guys. I think so I'm pretty much good to wrap up this year's first stream. How you feel, Mr. Bean?
Yeah, Mr. Bean, what do you think? What do you think?
Feels good?
What do you think? Does it feel good? This does, he says. This feels good. Hopefully I will find out. We thought we found out what was wrong with the computer. We replaced the power source thingy and it was working great until tonight. So wish me luck.
I wish you luck, for sure.
Yeah. Yes. I'm only walking around because it's better than doing the pee-pee dance.
I got you. Okay. Well, we love you guys. Thank you so much. Christy, we love you. And Stacy, tell everybody, say hi, give her a big hug.
And stay
humanist,
for
godless sake.
Yes.